So welcome, Pedro Acosta, back to the MotoGP podcast, Last on the Brakes. It's been 1 year and one race, I think, since we spoke to you.
Okay.
And last time was in Moto2. So your first podcast, now you're a MotoGP rider, multiple podium finisher as well, with, I should do the branding as well, Red Bull Gas Gas Tequa. First question, the easiest question, how are you? How are you doing? How's the mood?
Well, thanks for inviting me. Super happy after 1 year. It's true that how many things change in 1 year, you know, and I don't know, it's true that, like I say, in 1 year changed many things, and also my mind changed a lot compared when I was riding Moto2 and maybe everything was coming easy and all these things. But quite happy of everything that I'm living now.
So what has changed then, the biggest thing in your mind? It has been so much because you won the championship, I think, after we spoke to you.
Yep.
In Moto2.
Yep.
Because you won it here last year,
Right.
I believe. Last year you were still really annoyed about Le Mans.
Yeah.
Hopefully now you've let that go.
Well, now it's true that Le Mans go away, but now Japan is also painful for me, you know. But yeah, well, many things change, you know. Also, inside everything that only passed 1 year, when you are quite young, you mature quite a lot in only 1 year, you know. And it's true, after being out of time in Red Bull KTM Mayo for the 3 seasons that I make before jump to MotoGP.
And all your World Championship career before now,
Right,
no?
right. For this, I don't know, I was feeling quite like in a family, you know, and then change after 3 seasons that normally when you arrive to MotoGP, already you pass 1 or 2 or 3 teams around and then you jump. I was working since 3 years with the same group of people, in the same way and everything. And it's true that was never easy to change and to know new people and to start to work again from zero and all these things. But it's true that see how it's working a MotoGP team and see how it's working a MotoGP factory and see how many things compared to Moto2 are different, are quite awesome for this. Maybe I need it to grow up and also just a little bit more the head than this, in these days.
Okay, so now I've got a question we have to do now that I was going to leave for later, because next year you'll be in the Red Bull KTM factory racing team. You will have part of your first paddock family back, Aki Ayo.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? And actually, do you think that will be an important thing for you? Or?
Yeah, at the end, it's super pumped about that. At the end, I will have a bit of both teams, you know, because I jumped to the factory team coming back with my crew chief, with my data, with my strategy, also with my tire guy that was gonna be mechanic next year. Aki coming back. At the end, I think Aki was one of the important person of my career, you know, because I remember also it was quite dramatic in the way that I arrived to the team of Aki. And
you were already announced somewhere else, and then you came with Aki.
Yeah, I remember that I signed a contract with Prustel in these days, and then from the day to the night, this contract was like only on for 3 days, and then I was out and was a little bit a mess because also was the days from how was this Japanese in Moto2? You know who I think about.
Race winner with Aki.
Yeah.
Tetsuta Nagashima.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was also there, and he was not knowing where to go, and also Raul in Moto3 was quite a mess around, you know, and the way that I entered in Aki's team was quite peculiar, let's say. And
you have learned some English, eh?
Yeah, I learned a lot. Also this season with the mechanics, that was maybe the first season that I was having a crew chief coming from New Zealand and many French guys around. It was quite easier for everyone talking English because I was having the last 3 seasons also the same crew chief that was Alberto Lotti, that I was at the end talking Italian with him for this. I learned a lot, but yeah, from Aki also I learned a lot of things in these 3 seasons that more than anything was that racing is easy when everything, well, racing is easy if you take it easy for this. At the end, super happy and super pumped to see what he can do in a MotoGP team.
Okay, well that's a great answer as well. So much to unpack there. But let's go to MotoGP then. Well, no, let's go back 1 year ago. How did it feel to win that championship? Because obviously you won Moto3. That was like the miracle year. Everything's crazy from zero to world champion in what, like 7 months pretty much. How was it on take 2 in Moto2?
Well, I feel it more that I win this championship than Moto3, you know, because maybe Moto3 was not a real full season for the World Championship. We don't go to Asia, we only go to Qatar and America. And after everything, this championship on Moto2, I was needed to fight for them. And first season in Moto2 was not easy, don't start in the easiest way. I was having difficulties, and always is not easy. Even coming how I was coming from winning a championship, I will not say easy, but like you say, from zero to everything. After again, I was struggling this season a lot in wet, and after crashing in Le Mans, I remember, I was 25 points behind, and was not easy because in these days Arbolino was not having a mistake even for this. After winning the championship, was the first thing that came to my head was how many times I failed in the first year, how many times I was running behind this target or this goal, how many times I was thinking at home like, I want this, you know, this is the real target, and let's do whatever it needs to take it, you know. Also, I remember this year, all Ayo Motorsport make super nice job also, because at middle of the season I was struggling a lot in wet conditions, and I remember to say to Thomas, that is the second boy there, I say, fuck, but if we go to Asia like this, we don't win the championship, because we are not talking that I was losing a bit of points, maybe being in top 5 of top 10. The problem that the day that was rainy, I was 25, you know, was not a balance over there, you know. And I remember that we spent whole summer training in wet condition, also thinking to go to other countries to find this wet, you know.
Really?
And everyone was quite focused that this was the target to make, and we need here that many of the champions that we have now in MotoGP win here, or many legends win here in Sepang, was quite nice.
Well, yeah, in the end you had a bit of margin as well, like you said, because you won it here. How then immediately you go to Valencia, okay, you get your final race, Moto2 fine, test, immediately into MotoGP mode. How was the experience from day one with that?
Everything was quite fast.
You were already annoying Maverick quite a lot in the test. You were straight out there and just like, well,
I never like to be passive from anyone, but I say, okay, if he want to play, let's play, you know. But I don't know, was super pumped. Also, I spent the whole Monday trying to understand the bike, all the buttons, and to be honest, the target of this day for me was not to be fast, was just to understand all the devices, all the buttons, all the things that you have to play in a MotoGP bike, because it's feel quite similar. And also I will say that the jump from Moto2 to MotoGP is smaller or is easier than from Moto3 to Moto2. But the amount of new things that you have and you need to understand and are things that you really need to use it, you know, for this. It's true that was not easy day. Even I finished like 1.8 from the first, something like this. It was huge, but inside that huge was not massively, you know. And I don't know, I enjoy really riding this, I don't know, 60 laps, something like this. It was not a lot, but it was a good day. Also, I remember that after winning the championship here, I get ill in Qatar. And also I was quite ill in, well, I was not in my best moment in Valencia, and
yeah, we went to Qatar after, and then
yeah, I was done, you know. And I don't know, I enjoy a lot this couple of laps, and also see how much a team or a factory can take you like at home, you know, because from the first day KTM and all Peter Mobility take me like this, you know what I mean, like between the arms, you know, for this.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was super happy also.
Okay, so when you're in MotoGP then, in Qatar, I'm not going to do every race of the season, but you've got some real highlight moments here. Qatar, it was basically the Pedro Acosta show in the middle there. Did you overtook Marc Marquez? You didn't care. you seemed to decide, I've got this amount of tyre, and I am going to use it to just push
Yeah.
and then see what I have to compromise at the end.
It's true that we was coming from a IRTA, you know, and IRTA test, and was a little bit easier, you know, to be in the rhythm. But it's true that after sprint race that I was coming back, I was not having a great start. Also to disconnect all the devices, quite
That
difficult
must
first
be
time.
really stressful the first time you ever do it.
Yeah. Also, I was in the grid in the sprint race, and I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck I'm making here?" You know. Also,
Really? That much?
yeah, but more than anything because you see the bikes are quite big from the outside. I was not quite far from Mar, from Pekka, from Martin, that was, I don't know, in 1 or 2 rows in front of me, you know, and was like, what the fuck I'm making here, you know? And yeah, it was quite stressful to disconnect everything, to get on the rhythm, you know. And I arrived to the box on Sunday morning and I say, okay, I don't know how we will finish, but today I will go into the front, you know.
Good.
It's true that I was missing this, you know, was not huge, but at the end we get more experience from this race that even if I maintain all the distance whole race, you know, trying to be ninth and try to be safe, you know, at the end. Was a huge mistake, but minimum I was living the dream for 15 or 16 laps.
We also loved it. Like, I think I said to you then, I've never felt that for just a rookie debut, just because you're there and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, at the end.
It was a great vibe.
I was super happy also because no one from the team, even knowing what could happen, say, no, this is not the way to do it. They just open the door and say, okay, baby, flat out, you know, or this. I don't know, I really enjoyed this race because also I was feeling like, fuck, now I'm fast, you know, I'm fast, you know, because also I was seeing, for me it was like a orange ball in front that was bright. I say, I tried to catch him, but there arrived one moment that was not enough. I mean, I was not making enough laps in a MotoGP, enough laps in general, and I was just behind, but I don't know, it was super nice.
So let's talk about podiums then. How does it feel the first time on a MotoGP podium?
I don't really like to talk about the podium from Portugal.
Interesting. I didn't know how to word it because you seem to me like the kind of person who's like, yeah, I didn't take that.
Yeah, I didn't deserve.
Given.
I didn't deserve, and I still saying the same. If this day I finish 4th and I don't get the podium, I was gonna be the same happy, you know, because okay, I was in the podium and I was having the trophy and the champagne and everything, but I was not feeling that I deserve. I make things enough to take it, you know. For this, I always say that my first podium was in America, you know, because it was the first one that I was really fighting for, you know, and trying to achieve it. Even in the sprint race that I finished 4th, I was happy with this race because minimum I lose the podium, but I was fighting for that podium, you know, and you can lose, but minimum you need to fight, you know, minimum you need to compete, you know, and the podium for America, for example, was super nice, you know, because even was a good race that I was leading and having overtake with Pekka and with Martin and with Mark and with everything that was in this first group. Also was a race that we need to manage a lot because Maverick and myself go with the soft tire or with the medium tire rear.
Yeah.
And also was a situation that for me was quite new because I never tried whole weekend and was like, okay, do what you can, you know, with that. And I don't know, I was super pumped because even losing this win, let's say, I was super happy about the pace and how was whole weekend and how I was able to manage everything. Was quite like say, okay, now I was deserving a podium. Before was like catch something from another guy, you know. I never like it to take it if I don't really deserve.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, there's another way of looking at it if you deserve it. You weren't involved in an incident. That's a different kind of thing. You avoided some
Well, in
drama,
Spain we
but
say that to take it you need to be around there. You know, you need to be
true, for sure.
there, but was not the best way to achieve a podium, you know. I remember my first podium in Moto3, that was the first race in Qatar, and Masia win this race, and Binder was 3rd, something like this. I was happy with this podium, even if I was 2nd, but minimum I was fighting for that. As same as in Mugello 22 or Sachsenring 22 was my first victory and my second podium in Moto2. I was fighting for that, you know. I was not really wanting to take something that is not mine.
Okay, it's interesting. I feel like it explains a lot about you as well. But so during the season then, now, before you were haunted by Le Mans Moto2, you also had an adventurous Le Mans in MotoGP with the thread in the needle. But let's talk about now then, because you've led races, you've been on pole, you've had those podiums. In Japan, how do you come back from that now? Are you a different rider in the way you bounce back and how you process that?
I don't think so.
Do you think it helps you to have that thing that you need to overcome?
At the end, how I see the races now is that to be in the front, I need to push. And it's not any reason, but to be in front of these guys, I need to push. This is clear. And it's true that when you push to this 95, it's easy to pass this 5% and go down. But at the moment, and I don't really like to say this, but at the moment it's the only way to be in front of these guys, you know, for this. If we see the opportunity, we will go for that. It's the only way to learn, it's the only way to get info for what they are doing. And it's true that Motegi was painful. I mean, painful like can you not believe. For me it was like so close and so far in the same time, you know? Because the crash in the sprint race, for example, was slightly mystic. I mean, was not huge like looked like, you know? Was this, you know, was how you say like this, you know?
Yeah, how do you say that? Like like a hair's width.
Yeah, you know, and it was painful. And I think that not many times I cry for a crash, taking out that one, because I know that was an important race for us and was a race that we was able to do good. But as same as in Le Mans, I think this thing will make us stronger, you know. At the end, we see that we was able to do it. We see that we was having the potential to do it. We see that they are not untouchable, you know, which I mean. And it's true that they are in a very good level and maybe higher than our one. But we see that if we put everything together, we can be in the same. For this, I think also give a big push for everyone around the factory and around the two teams that we have here in MotoGP to keep pushing, because it's not easy when you don't see result and when we crash and when we are not competitive, and it's not easy to continue, and you make many questions, you know. And I was not never having questions from this project, you know.
I was going to say, so when you say they're not untouchable, you mean KTM Ducati? Have you always seen yourself as a rider who belongs with them?
Well, I will not say anyone in general, because there are many guys around the championship that are in a very good level, like can be Maverick and Alex with Aprilia, the 8 Ducati riders, our 4 KTM guys. But we have always a guy or two guys, like can be Pekka and Jorge, that are always there and are leading every session and are always in 5 seconds of advantage. It's not easy to. This is like when you see in Spain, Barça and Madrid, you know, the football teams. You always see that they are one step in front of everyone, but sometimes it's not real, you know, because sometimes we believe our lies, you know, and sometimes we need to really see where we are, and after that still pushing. Because for me it's like, okay, one more push. At the end of the day, we have the level to be there, you know, and everyone are talking that one manufacturer is better than the others and this and that, blah, 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 blah. But at the end we are quite close. For the young that is the project, we are super close for this. We need to keep pushing in that direction, because it's the one that we see that we are improving the most. It's true that at the moment I need to finish races because I have a long way of zeros behind, but we are becoming closer than even what we think.
So what about you then? How much of you do you feel like you've changed as a rider since you first got on the MotoGP bike? Do you think you're like
A lot.
100% understand it, or potential, or 80 or 90? Where are you?
I will say 80 at the moment.
Okay.
We make a big step. Also today I was seeing videos of how I was riding in February here, and I was looking the videos like, this is not myself. This is not
Really?
myself now.
There's that much difference?
Yeah, change a lot. Also, like you said, the understanding, you know, because okay, here when I come, I was riding and I was fast and I was able to make many things. But maybe I was making things because somebody was telling to me that, okay, you need to to make this to be faster. You need to make this to be faster. But I was not having a why of, I don't know, you know, the pickups or the angles or the electronic, whatever. Now I'm able to understand all these things, and now I'm able also to know what I need to go faster. And MotoGP bike is not an easy bike to understand how the chassis and how the suspension and how the tires that are quite critical, let's say, carbon discs, are many different things compared to Moto2, you know. And I see myself more conscious of these things now, but still way to improve. That's clear.
Okay, it's very interesting because, like, as well, because I don't know, we've seen some rookies before, but like Mark is the classic example. You always get compared. I won't do it. Everyone's different. You, Mark, Fabio, you have your own lives, but it's different being put straight into like the world champion factory team kind of thing, and being in your situation, especially from 3 seasons, one of them that was interrupted with injury as well, quite a lot. So I think you're a fascinating journey. I don't really have a question here. It's just like, that's really interesting. What are you feeling now for next season, going on from what you've learned? What's the plan?
Let's see, I'm quite pumped. I mean, I'm quite pumped. Imagine that since I was 14, I was riding with orange and blue colors, and I don't know, was still today that I see myself in red and still feeling strange, because I don't know, I grew up with these colors, and I grew up with the same guys, and I grew up with working with the same way, you know, and I don't know, super happy to make this move on at the end of the season. Also, I cannot be more grateful to KTM to believe in myself, because also I know that after middle of the season that we was struggling a lot, it was not easy also to believe. Maybe it was like, okay, the kid that was shiny and then was switching off, you know what I mean? It's not easy to believe in these things, you know, for this, but they was having no question marks, you know. Also, they say to me that, okay, it's a bad moment, but we go flat out, you know, for this. I was super happy to have this chance, you know, and to see what is going on for this. I hope that could be a good year for us.
And how are you different now with them? Like, we know you've like been to the factory and that kind of stuff. Compared to when you arrive and you are like the shiny kid and you're winning from pit lane and you're the rookie champion. Now, like, do you feel like your role is different as well? Like, you're kind of leading from the front more than...
No, I will not say lead, because...
But you know what I mean? Is it more of an exchange now?
No, it will be the same.
No?
And I'm so grateful to KTM, because from the first day, I remember that I arrived to the championship, even don't taking money for ride, because it was a strange situation. And I remember that I was not having even money to buy a bike. And they sent me a supermoto bike to train and all these things. From the day one, they give to me everything that they have in the hands, you know. And I know, again, that I was completely a kid. I mean, I was 16 when I arrived to the championship. It's not easy to believe in these things. Okay, maybe now that I'm in MotoGP, it's a little bit more understandable, you know, but when you are a kid, no one say that you are gonna be world champion, or that you are gonna be good, or you are gonna be riding in MotoGP, you know?
Some people did. But it is good
difficult too. Yeah, but it's difficult that this thing come at the end, you know? And from the day that I jumped with Red Bull KTM Mayo colors, they was flat out. I mean, they was giving to me everything they have in the hands, you know, and even when I was in MotoGP, was not putting pressure, even with the hard moment that was around, I cannot be more grateful for KTM to give me this opportunity, because at the end of the day, become more a family than a team or than a factory, you know. At the end, I grew up with these guys like a boss, and I I still having the same relationship with Peter, with Pete and Stefan than when I started in the championship. For this, become more a family than a team or a business or a work, you know.
Okay, so final question we've got to go back to. Last year on the podcast, you were saying how you want to see a bit more spice, a little bit more.
I still think
you did it in the. You offered to join the press conference with Jorge and Pekka before, and we did have a video question from you. Do you still, now you're here and you're part of it, you still agree? Maybe everyone needs to. What do you think? They need to relax, or they need to be more aggressive, or?
Well, a little bit more spicy, you know. At the end, if not. Everything becomes so serious, and you know, I don't see many people around the paddock having laughs, you know, for this. We need to enjoy a little bit more. Nothing in life is so serious to be serious, you know, and we need to, at the end, it's part of the game also. Let's try to have to make this game also.
Well, this is the thing. Now you're going to get in there and ruffle those feathers.
We hope. If we are in the point to try to use this game, is that something good is going on for this. Let's try.
I'm sure they're all really looking forward to that, because we're very confident you will. So we also have fan questions, as always. First, we've got to do our little MotoGP hospitality, little telling fans that they can come and meet people like you in the VIP village. But yeah, don't worry, we're not going to take you there now. No.
Okay.
So, fan questions. We've got the classics. You'll see exactly what I mean. So, first one's on X. From Passive Mikey, what is your favourite pizza topping?
I think jam, ham. You know.
I was like, jam is something so different in British English. It's like mermelada.
No.
I was like,
ham. No, normally I always take a margarita or I think it's prosciutto and fungi, but no fungi.
No fungi, no
is
mushrooms.
like out, you know.
Then I'm going to add my own question. Pineapple, yes or no?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
What do you think?
For me, always, yes.
Yeah?
And I'm really sorry to Italy.
No, please. No, please.
Don't worry, they've all shouted at me already.
This is not a pizza.
So next one from Jordan Armo. Another classic one. If you weren't a MotoGP rider, what would be your dream job?
I started so young riding bikes when I was fourth, fifth, something like this. And since that day, I was dreaming to come like a MotoGP rider for this. I was not even having time to think about it.
This is what I always think. It's like, well, I don't know, because the life that I've lived has been only this one.
Yeah, for this.
So next one from Gus Oping on Instagram. Pekka or Martin?
Martin.
Why? That was a quick answer.
Yeah, no, I think it's clear, you know, at the end he's the championship leader. Also, now both have the pressure to win the championship, that is true, but Martin is riding with the advantage of the points. I mean, even having 2 runs to go, 74 points to go. At this moment of the championship, 16 or 17 are a lot. You know, even if Martin now make a mistake, not huge, don't get me wrong, he is still on the fight.
Yeah.
You know, now he's the one that have more cards, you know, of the poker for this. I think it's quite clear.
I need to ask you then, because that's made me think of Pekka winning his first race in the wet under that pressure. How did you solve the wet weather then? Because you were on the podium in your first soaking wet MotoGP race.
It was not easy at the beginning with the carbo brakes and everything, but then when I was getting the pace and get a bit of confidence and also the temperature on the tire and the disc, that was the thing that I was suffering the most, was getting quite fast for this. Next time I will try to wake up earlier, because in the race I wake up quite late.
Well, you put on a great show then there, you and Jack.
Yeah, it was super nice. I think the most nice battle of whole season, you know? Honestly. Also, the TV make a good show also.
Right, it was, I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. So, final 3. From Harry's Irul, I think, or Harry's Irul. Have you ever listened to the Pedro song before the race? We hear that you don't love it so much.
No,
Pedro.
At beginning was nice, but arrived one moment that was hated. I mean, even I remember when KTM announced my sign, I see the video before, I say, fuck, no. It's not a way that you can put this on. And they say to me, we don't give a fuck, we will put this on. I say, fuck, you know. But
knowing who that probably was, I bet she didn't say that. Surely.
She said this. She said this.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
she said this. But I think it's not the one that you are thinking about.
Oh,
but anyway, was a joke, it's true, but at the moment that in the radio, in Spotify, in Instagram stories, in the box, in MotoGP, you also are this song 24/7. At the end, it's like when your mom start to cheating you at home, you know, Pedro. Come on, please stop.
Okay, so we're gonna leave. We'll leave the Pedro song.
Yeah, we leave it there.
We even have a sticker in our thing that's like the raccoon going round.
Yeah,
and when
of
it's
myself
things about
like this.
you, we put it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, we'll stop.
Don't worry.
So from Husahana, your favorite song at the moment?
My
Favorite song at the moment?
for sure, any Spanish one, maybe Romeo and Julieta from, I can check. See?
Did you drop your phone earlier though?
Yeah.
I was like, there was a bang.
I can check.
You've done it.
I
I don't know who that is by.
Cobardes. You can see?
Okay.
Yes, you have it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. And then finally, Tritia Francisca wants to know, how would you celebrate your first MotoGP win? But I will change the question to, how will you celebrate your first MotoGP win?
Maybe this day I will cry, but I think it's not necessary to have a celebration. It's enough. For me, I really like it to see after a difficult moments how you pass all these moments, you know, because in a period that you are not, for me, win is a drag that gives you the opportunity to lose. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
It's difficult to explain, but when you are winning,
That's going to probably be the title of the episode now, because that's great.
yeah, it's like,
Winning is a drug that means you can't lose again.
yeah, it's like when you are winning, you are getting confidence and everything is okay and you don't have problems and the climb becomes like this. And when you have a long term without win or without make good result, you start to make questions and sometimes not the best ones. And it's the problem from the brain of the human, you know, that try to fuck yourself even. And it's good that when you get this win or this goal that you are looking for, see how many difficulties you pass around this time and how you make it and how you manage your head and everything for this. I think I will take a seat with a Red Bull in the hand and maybe think about how was these steps, you know?
Well, I'm sure you will get the opportunity to do that at some point. Maybe here, maybe next time out.
Cross the
maybe next
fingers.
year. We'll see.
Let's try.
But yeah, like I said, I'm sure you will. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We've run over a few minutes now. Matilda looks chill about it. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck. We love watching you and we love the honest and open chat, and we hope you continue to give us more in the future.
Let's try. Thanks to invite me. Super nice always to talk with you boys, and let's try to have other one soon.
Exactly.
Thank you.